Saddam. I was letting y'all listen to American history because I'm a nice person. LS, Frank Burns, Killdeer, Boski, Mrs. West S, Brian Shue, Corsair, Carol, Frank Burns. I think I got everybody. What's happening? Eric Banks. Yeah, just it was the last thing we talked about in SOS's deal, so I just said DIY fort building. I mean, I have to come up with these titles at the, off the cuff. I can tell y'all how to build a fort, though, if y'all want me to. First, you have to discover a new land full of indigenous peoples, and you have to chop down a lot of trees. Read it in the book. Hey, Tina. Sticky. Oh, is it all humid where you're at, Kilder? How many coins you got now? Better kill deer. Go. That's pretty good. Hey, Brian. Well, I'm sorry, Carol. I can offer you some beans and some bacon. Good deal. I actually probably should make one of those sometime soon. Well, hello, WD. Come back and visit us. Come deer season, you'll have exactly 0. S10 Chevy, Jay, I am not discussing faith with you, brother. Bring it up in the chat again, and I'm going to have one of the wrenches take you out. I discussed that with you in the comment section of that video. I'm not playing any games with you. How's that? It sounded terribly rude, didn't it? Hey, Daniel. Um, Dude, I watched your deal the other day. I was in there when you premiered the Corsair trainer. Let me specify who I'm talking to. And you were talking about all the logistics and everything of having to actually get out of that part of the world. You know, Southern California, the LA area. It's just not happening, man. I don't, you know, 2 hour drive time is I figured it up the other day. It's days. It's several days walking. I think 30, 30 minutes of drive time, or 20, or no, 30 miles. To drive 30 miles, it takes you, I think the thing said it was 29 minutes. You know, I picked 2 points. To walk that same 30 miles was going to take you 7 hours and 54 minutes. And they don't figure that stuff while you're, you know, trying to tote gear, carry your own water. Yeah, you think that might be true, Daniel. I know it's faster to walk 6 blocks in New Jersey than it is to try to drive it most of the time. I don't know how. Actually lived in Lubbock, Texas for a while, and I played around with it some. I had this grandiose plan about how easy it was going to be to get out of of that place, and what that was back in the 90s. You know, we'd have to travel how much further now to actually get out of town? Oh, WD, the comment I made to our individual earlier, uh, we had a discussion on a video I put out over a year ago, and well, it didn't remain gentile or genteel, so I was done with it. And I'll talk religion in here if y'all want to. Just not gonna do it with him. I need to do a remodel on my chickens. I think when I get back, I'm going to do a major redo on my chicken arena. If I could find somebody with a CZ let me borrow, which Daniel, we are working on, man, we cannot see any way to make to justify the drive time to Ohio. If we could take 2 weeks, a 2-week vacation instead of being forced into the shorter vacation we're taking, we would so come to Ohio and see you and Savage. But actual moving down the highway, if we put y'all into the circuit, what was it? 48 and a half hours of driving time.
Yeah.
Which actually we're still looking at 41 hours of drive time. You got the good coffee out. We'll get hold of all the highway patrolmen between here and there and tell them to let the little silver car go on, man. We'll come on with it. I ain't scared. That thing will bump. I'm not going to say that out loud. That car will move. We can make some road time. Just, those silly little cars with the silly little lights in the grill always mess things up when you do that. That's doing it the way we're doing it. We put in 6, 7 hours drive time. We get to visit for 8 hours. Put in 6, 7 hours drive time, visit for 8 hours. Put in 6, 7 hours of drive time, visit for 8 hours. And then you've got sleeping and eating and stuff in there. It's a road trip. I actually got inside that school bus today, and that thing is clean. I just don't have the money. As it stands right now, going up through Oklahoma to see Bitty Boo. We're going to go to the Northwest Arkansas meet and greet the 29th. I wish they were doing it on the 28th or something, but that allows us. We'll spend the 28th with Bitty Boo, the 29th with TJ at Bear Independent and several other people from Northwest Arkansas, Oklahoma area, and then from there we are going to go to some money hungry dude's place up in Arkansas. Can't remember his name. Anyway, he's on the list. And hang out with him, watch fireworks. And then we're going to shoot on over to, we'll either have to drop back down, shoot over, drop down and go to Georgia. See a little peach of a lady who don't like peaches, and she's from Georgia. I don't get that, but whatever. On the way there, if we do it that way, though, I'm going to swing through Decatur County, Alabama, and I'm going to stop and talk to an old boy. I know Two Family Homesteads channel. I don't know if they're going to be there or not, dude. I don't have a who's going to be there and who's don't. I just, when I told him I was going to be in the area, TJ said, well, here, come to this. So I know the address and the time, and that's it. Well, that's true. Later, WD. Oh, sorry, WD. I did not see that comment. It wasn't about faith. So you can't judge the conversation on the video. That was the whole issue. It's 50 something years of wisdom in under 3 minutes or something like that. It was meant to be an edifying video, but I wasn't preaching, so I'm gonna go to hell or something. Corsair trainers, I tell you what, hold your breath till I come to LA County, and you'll be fine. Dude, I ain't lost nothing over there. I would go to I would drive into Los Angeles, make a circle through downtown, and drive back out for $1 million cash. But I'd need the money deposited in an account before I made town. And then you just have to catch me. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Never noticed the resemblance. But I do look rather lunar. Yeah. Night, Brian. Now I've been to California before, but we always turn north at Nevada and go up to last time we went through there, we didn't know that the high desert existed. High Desert Pioneer. We drove right through his little town that's close to him, entered California, and then turned north again, and drove up to Portland, Oregon. Oh, I got to turn the camera on for a minute. I was hoping Jason Jabroni would come in here. He's not believing me. If anybody sees Jabroni in another chat room ever, tell him, hey, no, seriously, Wes showed the beans. They're insane. Jabroni gave us the seeds for these. I was going to show him if he showed up. I wanted to show him the beans. And there's like that many out there again already. My broadcast is actually keeping up with me, and because I haven't been running video, I bet it slows down now that I got the video going. Dude, not at Venice Beach is anything like the last video I saw of it. I'm not that interested in, street bums and trash. If that's not true, you need to go do a video. Go drive through Venice Beach and let me see it. No, Kildare, I didn't see. I am not getting notifications from anybody. Again, I've been hearing that a lot from other people about me. I don't know what's going on. I guess when they updid their algorithm, it knocked everything around. So I've been going around unclicking the bell and re-clicking it. That generally. If I had the money, honestly, if I had the money, I would get that. I would buy that bus or something similar. It wouldn't necessarily have to be that bus. And I would literally tour the country making videos about all these stuff that people are saying are conspiracy theories and lies and stuff, and showing people, no, here it is. I went there. I checked. This is the truth. Somebody needs to tell the truth about the way it really is at Slab City. Slab City is not this haven for free thinking and free living people. It's a very dangerous place. Okay, those people are totally anarchical. You don't walk away and leave your stuff unattended there. You just don't. I'll go check it out though, Kildare. Let me think. See, I don't know how many people in the room right now. Several of my subscribers, my regular people, know that I was homeless more than once. I lived out of a backpack for 18 months once. I lived in a car for several months. I was what you call a couch bum for several months. I was back to living out of a backpack and under bridges and stuff for a few months. I've made some pretty bad choices early on in my life. And back in the day, homeless people were 90% people that were down on their luck. Alcoholic, mental health, drug addict, something like that, or stupid. And most of the ones out there now that I'm seeing in these videos, they've made a lifestyle choice. And that's just crazy. Hey, Westwind. Hey, Jabroni. You ready for this? This is just one of them. Bottom of the screen. Magic. See this? This is not a rope, dude. It's a green bean, buddy.
Can you see this? I don't know how you kind of dark. I don't know. See it.
Hold on. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. That's that one bean. That's my wife's legs. Thing was 3 foot long, man. But yeah, there's another mess every bit this big outside already. We picked those yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, and we're already gonna have to pick some more in the morning. They just decided, you know what, we're gonna make beans. And started crapping out these giant things, man. No, I wasn't kidding, man. They're flipping huge. They're good too. Um, I'm glad we didn't plant the entire package. You sent 2 packages of seeds or whatever. I'm glad I started to plant all of them. I was gonna plant big old long row, 2 big long rows, and I said, let's just check and see how they do. I planted 2 6 foot long rows or whatever. And we're not gonna be able to beat all them beans. We're gonna have to put them up. I mean, that's 2 days worth of green beans in one day. And there's 2 days worth of beans out there. And then it's just in the flowers. I mean, there are flowers all over that thing on the vines. When the sun came out and it got some sun, it started making flowers all over these vines, which are 6 or 8 foot long, running up the poles now. It's gonna be interesting. Hey, yeah, be careful, Wayne. Don't run into nothing. The weeds are doing great, by the way. We didn't plant the trees. Uh, I I think I'm going to start them in the house late winter and uh, then put them out and try to do it like that. And of all, I planted, all but one of the seeds that I planted germinated. So they were good. It was good seeds. They weren't bad seeds or anything. Just FYI. It wasn't 100% germ wet. Might have been 100% germination. Something could have dug up one of the beans and ate it. I don't know. But nothing came up in that spot. And we did have a gopher find the root ball for one of the bean plants, and we are down 1 bean plant now. But C103, you were present for that debacle. Went out there and she was right. It had just pushed up. You know how they get scared when you spot them. It pushed a little cap in the hole, and when I moved the dirt, it opened up, so I knew it was in there. He's done for now. I finally found his hole. Gave him some kibbles and bits. The end of Monsignor Rodent. No more chewing the roots off of the vegetables. Hey, D-Mac. David Burton, Biddy Boo. Who else came snuck in here? If I miss saying howdy to y'all let me know. No, not that. Once this little critter eats them little green pills, I don't want anything to eat him. Anything that eats that rat after he eats those things will die too. I wasn't playing around. I've been after this thing for a while now. I wanted him dead.
Lost us all of our eggplants last year.
Yeah, I took out all the eggplants last year. That one that I did get was the daddy or whatever, didn't get the mama, so she had the babies. And we can talk about building forts if you want. Kind of got off topic, really, because my a guy that had tried to troll me on my religious beliefs came in and tried to start trolling in the chat, and it just went south from there. What do y'all need to know about fort building? Fort building is really good practice for being homeless. If you can build a fort out of junk, you can build you a house out of junk. And then you're not actually homeless. You're just home creative. Like pallets, you can make a pretty decent fort out of pallets if you got pallets. Depending on how much room you need. If you got access to shipping crates work really well. Yeah, there you go. Without address, not homeless. Snow forts are actually pretty cool. I don't have a whole lot of practice making those because, well, it doesn't snow much here. If you're lucky, it'll snow at night. You can get up in the morning and build your snowman and watch him dissolve the next day. Or melt or whatever it is they do. Yeah, the underserved community. Daniel, you have my email. Daniel, God is my judge. You still in here?
No.
Oh. Did he say he was leaving or something?
Yes.
Why? Did he get offended? Did we hurt his feelings?
You probably saw that block on the wall. He just said time for bed.
Oh, okay. That's probably what it was. He couldn't look at that sexy brick anymore. Trying to think of the most epic fort I ever built. I built in grade school, or I didn't. We did. We were maybe third or fourth grade. We had this massive windstorm come through. And they around the baseball fields at the school where I went to school. We had there's 3 baseball fields. It was back in the day. It was a big school, and we had lots. It was a real town. It died, but where there had been 3 baseball fields, there were Chinese elm, piss elm planted around the field. So during baseball season, there was shade for people to sit under to watch the games. Anyway, a storm come through and broke a whole bunch of the branches. And we were out playing, and at recess and stuff, we asked the teacher, "Hey, can we play with these?" And they were like, "Yeah, whatever." And it was the third and fourth grades all worked together, and we collected every broken branch on the school property and made a fort. We interwove all the branches. There were multiple rooms. There was actually a really big dome in the center. It looked like big green igloos all tied together. But we all worked on it for 2 days and played in it for 3 or 4 days. The leaves were actually getting all crinkly and crunchy by the time they made us quit. All that time working together and having fun and stuff, and then somebody, instead of just throwing insults, picked up and threw a rock and bashed Freddie in the face, actually busted, cracked his eye socket and caused his eyelid to fill with fluid. It was actually pretty disgusting to see. Yeah, fast too. Anyway, and then the next day there was a big fire where our fort was, and we didn't get to play on it no more. It was epic though. It was awesome. And I almost forgot about that fort. We still don't know who tagged Freddie in the face with that rock. Or I never found out. Good night, LS. It was, it might have been accidental. Somebody might have just been trying to get the rock and throw it out of our area because, but I mean, there was probably 30 of us kids playing on it. I just remember it being like a really cool time in my childhood because it's really hard to get that many kids to all play together well, but to get that many kids to work together and play, there was no supervision. It was all kids. But for that length of time, for everybody to work together with a common goal and get along and no fussing and no fighting and everything, it was actually pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. I remember we were all scared to death because Freddie's dad kept saying that the swelling will go down, swelling will go down, swelling will go down. And finally, the coach or the principal told him he had to take him to the doctor. He wasn't going to let him come back to school. And the doctor had to lance his eye. And flush it out because the blood had congealed or whatever. And then when he flushed it out, the bleeding started again. So he had to go in there and actually sew up a blood vessel or something. It actually turned into be something as fairly serious. He could have lost his eyeball. His left eye. Be right back. Gotta go get some coffee. Started putting raw honey in my coffee. It's really, really good. In case y'all wondered. Anyway, your fort should be appropriately sized to meet your individual requirements. Don't build a fort big enough for a Lilliputian if you're a Sasquatch. That's what I'm saying. This is bacon. It's my bacon. This is not your bacon. This is my bacon. No, raw honey. Is it wrong to sit here and eat bacon in front of you? Because if it is, I'll stop. How many of y'all were in the SOS chat? You say, here, I, me. Got a question for y'all. You're welcome, Diddy. Who but me noticed the look on Sippy's face when she was talking about that banking stuff? Sippy's not the person that gets that look on her face. I didn't like it. You can tell that her brow is not used to being furrowed. She doesn't look good with worry on her face. Well, she looks vulnerable, and I don't like that. Plain living. So I stopped in and bought a pack of cigarettes at a convenience store the other day because I left mine sitting right here. And the young woman who is about my age behind the counter, she's, what's your birthday? So I told her my birthday, and she goes, your real birthday, you are not that old. I was like, Well, thank you very much. Like it's all them years of clean living. That's really good bacon. Believe it or not, it's the generic Walmart one, and it's like flipping good. Um, there is way too much to think about. You know why so many people want to build uh, bushcraft shelters and stuff like that nowadays? Y'all think this through. Y'all know the answer. Why so many grown-ups want to go play bushcrafting and stuff nowadays? Give it a little bit of thought. I bet you can figure it out. I mean, the answer's right before your eyes. Hey, Walter, long time no see. It quite often rhymes with itself. Walter Davis, yeah, Walter Davis for the win, and High Desert for honorable mention. And David E. Burton. There you go. I mean, that's it. Well, it's nice to go out and play. I mean, that's whenever I go bushcrafting, I know I'm going out there to play. Come on. This day and age, if I really want to build me a shelter, I'm gonna go to the lumberyard. I'm gonna buy me some boards, and I'm gonna use the power saw and the compressor and the nailer, and I'm gonna get her done. It's gonna shed water and be insulated and all that stuff. Then if I want it to look like a dirt shelter, I'll throw some dirt on the outside of it. I mean, how many of us built forts when we were kids? It was like bomb. I mean, it was fun. I've built forts. I've built tree houses. Uh, I've dug my own caves. Uh, I've made shelters inside of shelf caves. I've made forts all over the flipping place. But back when I was a kid and doing it, that's what I called it. Was a fort. I didn't call it a shelter. Um, Me and a couple of friends of mine in fourth grade during the weeds had already died. So it was late fall. We built grass huts out of dead weed stalks. I mean, Kids can figure out how to make something out of nothing. And that's because kids are able, they allow their imagination to run. They allow their imagination to work. They allow their imagination to get them where they want to be. So as adults, you want to get back to fort building or whatever, you need to let your imagination start running a little bit. Not running away with you, but let your imagination do the work. You don't have to jump on the first idea you have, but a lot of it's just trying to just, when you're grown up, you're saying, I'm trying to figure this out. No, you're trying to imagine how to make it happen. Use your imagination. Yeah, I mean, I nearly froze to death a couple of times. Built a tree house and sleeping out there because it was warm all day long, and then cold front come through at night. Never did though. It's weird. There was always a magic blanket would show up. You'd carry your pillow and a couple blankets out there and go to sleep, and then you'd wake up and you'd be warm and cozy, but there'd be a heavy quilt laying on top of you. Till I was 20 something, it never occurred to me that mom had climbed that ladder and rolled that heavy quilt out on top of you so you wouldn't freeze to death. It'd been a whole lot easier for her to wake you up and make you go inside. But that's not how she did things. Or not my mom, either. I had to be way more creative with mine, Wes, when I grew up on a turn row half a mile from the blacktop. And the closest town was 2.5 miles, and it wasn't a town. There wasn't no construction going on there. I grew up rough. Yeah. Moms are awesome. What do? That would be messed up. What do you mean it's the guest house? That's our fort. Hey, Aid, how's it going? Uh-oh. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Honest, I promise. Got her done and done. And if y'all don't mind, anybody out there that feels the need or the urge, the storm just caused some difficulty for LS's sister. So if y'all wouldn't mind praying for the safety of their residents and their animals. Yes. Walt, is that you, Mr. Davis? That was pretty sneaky. I did that. See how I connected. Um, Sorry for turning the camera off. I just, I'm not real good at praying for show. Daughter, she's very well. They actually found a tunnel some kids had made in a caliche pit 8 or 9 miles to the west of us. And they took a tractor out there and destroyed it because they were afraid it was going to collapse on the children. Oh, wow, that would be cool. One of the forts me and a friend of mine built out in the canyons had a zip line, but we made the incline on the zip line too steep. So, man, it hurt when you got to the bottom. It was almost, you weren't sliding down, you were falling. You were falling at an angle. It was harsh. But the gully we did, and it was dumb. We were young. We should have died. We were lucky it never came a rainstorm. Oh, there. Being Mexican was interfering with y'all's forting. The kids used to ride their bikes to the forts they built. The kids were disappearing one summer. If you didn't know about this, honey, you can't. It's too late. You can't spank them. They're grown up now. The kids were disappearing one summer, and I went on a search because nobody in town knew where anybody's kids were. And that gave us reason for pause. And come to find out, the little brats had found one of the houses that had been abandoned in town for decades. It was a solid house. It was well built, but it had a high attic, a high open attic with a built-in ladder. Why build a fort when you can just carry planks and every random board you can find and put up across the ceiling joists in the attic of this abandoned house and just make that your fort. And then you have this big 1,000 square foot or better area where all the kids can congregate in this house and completely disappear from view for the entire town and leave every parent in the village wondering where their small children are. But, yeah, we found them. It's, yeah, you forget about all the stuff you do when you're a kid until you start thinking about it. I mean, that's why roots are important. Um, I honestly think that when the 40s and 50s came along and they, the thing was to, when you got older, you moved away from your family and started your life somewhere else. I think that was the biggest straw that was ever put on the back of the American family. That was the end of the generational town. The people weren't trying to keep their community alive, which was, I mean, where you were born and raised, that's where your roots are. If you're not trying to keep the roots alive, the branches will never prosper. Rain can fall on leaves all day long if all the water runs off and doesn't stay on the roots. You got to have roots, and then the country is getting way far away from its roots. And it started small, and at the time it seemed like a good thing to move from the small communities into the bigger towns for the industry and stuff. But then they took the industry away, leaving giant shells of unemployed metropolises. And there was no roots to go back to. There's the town I grew up in the by 1920 it hosted 3 hotels, 2 grocery stores, a train depot, 2 or 3 banks, I believe there was a tractor dealership, and the list goes on. Automotive repair places, yada, 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 you name it, they had it. Several thousand people lived there. And then they built a plant somewhere else. There was a flood. They built a plant somewhere else, and everybody moved up the road. The whole town died. And now that, if it were not for the farmers and farmhands and stuff living there trying to keep the cotton coming up out of the ground, there would be no reason for that community at all. There's actually very few people living in the community proper anymore. Houses that I've sat in and had dinner at the dining table when I was a child are fallen in shells. The people literally just walked away. The kids moved somewhere else. They put mom and dad in the nursing home, and they let the house fall down. Where's that way, West Wind? Yeah, we've been in trouble a while, but don't feel bad about wanting to go out and build forts. Nothing wrong with it. Um, Especially if you got kids. If you don't have kids, borrow somebody else's. Be surprised how many kids don't know how to build forts. Unless it's using uh, zeros and ones in the form of block-shaped people with block-shaped picks and axes. Um, Heck, whether you agree with the doctrines or not, it wouldn't kill you to volunteer at a church. Take some kids camping, show them how to throw up a tarp, build a fire, and cook a lizard. 10 years from now, it just might save the kid's life. And you're going to have fun doing it. You know what I'm saying? I know you were talking about building something else, but I'm still praying that we don't wind up having to have sandbags on opposite sides of the streets from each other. That's I'm still hoping that there's not dead zones running through parts of town, no man zones. Uh, I fervently hope that we do not wind up in, because it won't be like the 1860s. It'll be regional. It won't be state against state. It'll be this half town against that half town. It'll be, car bombs and drive-by pipe bombing and random sniper fire. Then somebody will wind up with mortars and RPGs, and it'll get real. The cops won't be able to do anything. You're right, honey. That's Jay Stimps. That's Jabroni's fault. Anyway, we're talking happy thoughts. Happy go lucky fort building. That's what we're talking about. Not Wesley's nightmares. Cool. Do you have a plan? There, West Wind, on where you're going to go? Balkanization. What is balkanization? Siege nothing. Liberals can stay in the city. I'm serious. I mean, the liberals can have the cities. I'm doing my level best to get ready to where I don't have to worry. I don't want to need to go to Walmart. I'm on my way right now and grow 3-foot long green beans. Why would a guy need to go to Walmart to buy green beans when he can grow 3-foot long green beans in his backyard? I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. That's the one. Sorry. The flipping beans are amazing, man. Start over. We didn't talk about anything. I went into a dark jury place about Civil War and stuff, but my wife called me out of it. So you'll have to go back and watch that. I don't think that's a successful pecan. Oh, it is. I still don't think it's going to be fast. I don't get why he called off the raids, though. I know that's random, but I really don't understand that play. I understand why he called off the thing in Iran, but because the experts said to. I just don't think we had enough boats over there yet. I don't think it'd pay them to do anything stupid again. And with the Indian Navy in there now. But that's just me. Yeah, I promised myself I would not go political in the live streams anymore. I'm going to do political live streams, but I'm going to do them on Wes S, the real one. That's my other YouTube account. Feel free to subscribe to it. I'll share the videos on my Twitter. And my Instagram. And if y'all want to go over there and hang out or watch them or whatever, feel free. But like I said before, I don't want to waste people's time sitting there trying to figure out what, when, where, and how, and all that over here. One reason I do this the live stream on Saturday night is so I can sit here and yak at people. Gives me something to do besides staring down Netflix all night. Before who was it that talked me into doing the first live show? Anyway, who was that? Was that Chipper? Chipper, was that you? Are you still in here? You lurker? Or you have to go to work tomorrow? No, I'm cracking pecans. Sorry. I didn't think about that being loud. Yeah, cracking nuts. See you, Mark. C103. I can't talk Chipper into doing those stinking live streams. He's just about as bashful as it gets. He's an insanely likable fellow. He's amiable. He's intelligent. He's well spoken. He's got one of the cleanest vocabularies of anybody I've ever met in my life. And all that, he just shot. Yeah, when he can figure out how to hug people through the camera. Yeah. Never been in the service. Tried twice. I have had bullets ripped through my clothing 3 times. That crap sucks. But I was lucky and it was just my clothing. So it builds character, all right. Aid says you should do a late after show. Are you going to use that excuse about not having enough subscribers, aren't you? I wasn't that lucky. The closest they ever came. Oh, I forgot about that one. Technically, it didn't hit my clothes. It was just hitting all around me. But anyway, it was 22 caliber, and it was coming. It was going through the back of I would feel my jacket fly forward, and I would hear jacket would fly forward. I would hear the bullet was getting there before the sound was, and then I made the corner and got out of there. And then the other time that I just remembered, I was sitting there and I would hear a thud in the ground next to me. I was fishing, and I didn't know it was a private pond. I honestly did not know. But I'd hear a thud in the dirt next to me. And then I'd hear just real light. I'd hear the crack of a distant rifle. And then I'd hear it hit the dirt on the other side of me. And then I could see, I don't know, it's 200-300 yards away. This old man standing on his porch, leaning up against the deal. I was looking, and then something hit the dirt, and I heard the deal, and then I noticed that it was down, and it was, yeah. And he chambered another round. And I could see the motion of him. I'm like, holy crap, he's shooting at me. I don't think he was shooting to scare me, because each thud was getting closer. Maybe he was shooting to scare me, but it worked. Had he jumped on his little riding tractor or whatever and drove over there and said, "Hey, that's my pond, get out of there," I would have just left. If I was going to try to stealthily fish in his private pond, I don't think I would have done it right in front of his porch. You know what I mean? Catch anything anyway. Y'all talking about 22 rifles over here now, ain't you? Oh yeah, I are talking about the one that's in your price range. Ow, that sucked, Corsair. You can get one of these 308. Ain't nothing wrong with it. See, just zero. Anybody wants to clean that, you can drive over here and do that for me. I would have a whole lot rather been. Now I've been actually shot with birdshot. That sucked. Didn't make it through my
You
skin.
won't let your son shoot you.
I'm not letting my son shoot me. I already tried it once. It sucked. I don't want to do it again. And besides, when he's wanting to shoot me, he's not my son. He's your son. In retrospect, I would just like to say I don't know how I'm still alive. Knifed, shot at, run over. Well, first I was run over. Then I was knifed. Then I was shot at several times. I was shot once. Granted, it was a good distance and it just stung like hell. Got run over again. Or technically run into. Broke the steering wheel with my head. Blew up tank battery. Well, technically didn't blow up the tank battery. It was a very small explosion. The jet vortex of death was cool. I like that one. You can give me a pet rabbit. Carry him around in my pocket, so I got all 4 feet with me. Oh, geez. There's that. I know a guy took 25 autos in the mouth, point blank range. It knocked most of his teeth out, but the only 2 of the slugs actually made it into his brain pan, and they just went around the outside of his brain. They didn't go through the brain. Knocked all his teeth out, though. Most of his teeth. I think he had like 3 teeth left. He was ugly before. He was real ugly after. Cool. And Walt, I'm going to argue with you on this respectfully. The old school trigger on the 700 was not prone to go off on their own. If you are a responsible gun owner, the triggers are perfectly safe. You don't set the gun down to take a whiz without the safety on and, you know, think it's on the ground and then let go and let it drop 3 inches and not expect the trigger to go off. I mean, that, you know, needing a logging chain to pull the trigger on your new 700 is ridiculous. Trigger pull, personal opinion, trigger pull should be in the ounces, not in the pounds. You need to be able to feel the resistance and then know the travel. You shouldn't have to put so much pressure on the trigger that you actually pull it off target to make the gun go off. Shit. They had to change the trigger on the 700 because there were so many people not being safe with their firearm. So it was. That's my opinion. I never had one go off. They were a lot more fun to shoot too because it was like bang. It wasn't like, okay, sooner or later it's going to go bang. This gun, sooner or later it's going to go bang. I have not shot it enough to get the trigger pulled down yet. And a lot of people don't realize that when you're shooting a long gun, about, I don't know, half your accuracy is owning that trigger. You've got to know when it's going to let the firing pin go. You have to know. It has to be ingrained into your body. How many other rifles you got, Jay? Because I've actually shot a Browning 7mm mag, and that is a really sweet gun. Actually, it kicks a 700's butt, honestly. Heart rate and trigger, you gotta, I mean, I don't plan on competing. I want to bring my gun up, find the kill zone on the deer, exhale, hold, squeeze, go get my deer. What I want to do. I used to do competition shooting, but not forever. Uh, I do like a little bit of travel, but I don't like a stiff trigger at all. And I know a pound and a half is not stiff, but actually it is to me. I did a trigger job on my Nagant right after I got it. And it had like a quarter of an inch of travel on the trigger. I mean, come on. Who needs a quarter inch trigger travel? Doesn't have that much now. It's super easy to do. I'll show you how to do it, except YouTube pull the video down. This guy, I bet it's 3/16 of an inch of travel. It's adjustable though. I can adjust it. I need to get in there and do that. Almost, but think about it. The Nagant was made for clumping around in the muck and the mire, and you didn't want it to go off until you wanted it to go off. So I can understand that, but it doesn't need that now. And it was super simple to do. I had to put I was able to cut the trigger pull in half by using, I think it was about it was 32nd of an inch spacer. That's all it took. And it was super simple. It was a YouTube video, but I don't even know if it's still out there because you're not allowed to teach people stuff like that. What were you doing, bud? I would love to have a machine shop. There were some gun designs out there, some older ones that could be tweaked and could be super cool nowadays. But you'd have to have a machine shop to replicate the thing cost effectively. You got a 3.5 pound trigger pull? Holy crap. That's probably about what the Nagant is. You got to pull that trigger. It had travel and it was hard. I mean, I can't imagine having to shoot that thing all day long and then trying to scratch your nose at the end of the day. You'd have a cramp in your trigger finger. That would be pretty ideal, yeah. And if you're just going bang, bang, bang at moving targets, I don't guess it really matters, honestly. Yes, sir. I would, I would love a horizontal mill. Uh, if you got all the right tools and stuff, you could, in theory, make just about everything you need with a little skill. A barrel lathe is a totally different story. Um, I actually found a set of um, called honers or whatever, that after you drilled the gauge barrel you wanted, you set these up. Uh, the You set the barrel back up. You set the barrel up and then you run the uh, you put the honer in there, and you had to have the right kind of lathe because the track for the backside of the honer was on the backside of the drive and went through the chuck on the lathe, and then you started it and it went there, and it would actually take your barrel to a polished finish for whatever gauge, 28 gauge, 20, 12. Uh, got them at an auction, never got to use them. Don't know where they're at now. That's many, many moons ago. Bought them when I worked at a machine shop. Never got a chance to use them. We actually had a lathe that was capable of running them, but we never got it set up. We were so busy, we were just running the other stuff. That was just one we were going to set up to do the cool stuff in our downtime, and then we never had any downtime. Um, you could actually, after you did that, you could go back in and you could chamber your barrel with a boring tool. Colonial gunsmith. if you're depending on your rifle to keep you alive, that sounds like a pretty decent idea. Quite honestly. David had just do you have content on your channel, Chance? Is that what you're talking about doing? You're not going to rally the troops that way. Can't lay low and get organized at the same time. Sorry, but it doesn't work. Not trying to be ugly, but that's just a fact. As moderate as I am with my speaking on here, you know, every time I make a video, my family's that much safer. Not. We'll back off of it some. The FEMA truck's one thing. The concentration camp's another. And that's like the revolting man. I mean, he's got a lot to lose, man. He makes the videos anyway. I've met a lot of illegal kitchen workers. That the same thing. Is knives the new slang for immigrants? Me either. That's just a cardboard mock-up that I showed you with spray paint. And those are just toys I got at Walmart. What's this one? That one. And those two. Yeah, the gun laws in England are nuts, man. Just Aiden Ear was there's no enemy lines, buddy. They're everywhere. I'm surrounded. I am literally surrounded. I have no direction to run. When it breaks open, I'm surrounded. Any population dense area with over 200,000 people is at best purple. Okay. And I have Uh, to my north, the Republic of Texas. If in SHTF, it'd be a death sentence to try to walk that way. To the south, I have three blue spots and one giant blue sprawl. To the east, I have a purple spot. To the west, I have a dark purple spot. Further east, I have bright blue. Further south and east, I have even brighter blue. Everybody keeps talking about, states. Everybody keeps trying to draw the lines on states. It's not states. It's every population center in the country is either blue or purple. That's simple. The only way to avoid, well, the only way to substantially increase your survivability in the event of the potential civil war that is aggressively approaching our citizenry, I strongly suggest that you get your ass up out the city. How's that? There you go, Corsair. I just said to hit the hills, boy. I mean, you could move to the hills or you could run to the hills. Running to the hills is a death sentence. Oh, no, I don't know that one. What's one? We lived in town before we moved here. Uh, yeah. Lived in Lubbock, lived in Texarkana. Uh, and then after that, we tried to stay out of the bigger towns. But then we noticed that even in the towns where there was more than, 200 or 300 people, it was just as dangerous. We've had, in the past 2 years, we've had 4 or 5 drug-related homicides. And we're under that. I don't live in town, but that town is under 10. Yeah, it's probably going to be my last cancer stick for the evening, and I'm going to go to bed. This is already laid out on. That's the deal. Dude, it's been dark for 2 hours here. Yeah, hour and a half. It got too dark to do anything out there about 9:30ish, 9:20ish. All right, Jabroni, have a good night, man. Thanks for the beans. And I don't think I don't think they can use the United States Armed Forces against the United States citizens. I don't think it'll ever work. But we do not have enough police. I know you don't. I think you think the police got too much mojo as it is, guys. But there's not enough police, and there's not enough National Guard to stop a ethnically and politically and religiously divided multi-front civil war, which is what we will be looking at. And we're not talking about this. Uh, the civil war that I picture is not going to be the blue against the gray or the blue against the red. Um, it will literally be ethnic center against ethnic center, religious bloc against religious bloc. Uh, you know, it's going to be all over the place. There's going to be people fighting all over the flipping place, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be out in the open. It'll be 60s and 70s Northern Ireland kind of crap. With maybe a little bit of the Baltics kicked in that Westwind mentioned earlier. Uh, Most of them, yeah. The rural ones are. I don't know about the big city guys. I got no respect for the police in Olmos Park down by San Antonio. None at all. I don't think Antifa will play into it. Antifa won't fight out in the open. It's not their style. I said, I don't think it'll play that way. It's not. That's not how they roll. Will they cause trouble in the back? Will they stir stuff up and then run off? That's more their stuff. Might there be a few early on that get out and get physical? Yeah, but then when, they realize that it's not for funsies anymore, they'll completely switch their tactics to brown paper bags on sidewalks. It's just safer for them. And even that, it'll take it years to escalate. My money's still on the slow burn. I don't see an overnight collapse. I don't see an overnight reset. As we get closer and closer to the tip, we're in SHTF, people. I mean, I don't know what we're waiting for. Everybody's like, well, when shit hits the fan, I don't know. I can smell it. I don't know how nobody else can smell it. We're already there. I don't know what everybody's waiting for. It's a slow, smoldering fire. It's just creeping. It gets to a point, something's going to kick it. Somebody's going to step on the wrong spot. It's going to get a big lung full of air, and then it might burst into fire. And they'll put that fire out, but it's still going to be burning everywhere else. It's like a cotton bale fire, man. You don't get it put out. You shut it back down to a smolder, but then give it a minute. It'll come back out. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a slow burn. Mrs. projects 10 years. She's adamant about 10 years before people actually realize that it's gotten to the point where there's no coming back. I'm not that optimistic. But then again, I could be seeing one of the puffs of air rather than the whole blaze. I don't know. We've been in it for a while. It's I don't know. I can't figure it out anymore. I can't figure out it's not three-dimensional chess anymore. It's not a 3D game. It's 4 or 5 dimensions of it. And that's what I was saying in that one video I did the other day. When I was rude and said, stop trying to think outside your pay scale. But literally, I mean, we don't get all thoughts. We don't even know the moves that are being made on the fourth and the fifth dimension. We barely get glimpses of the third dimension of this game that's being played with our world and the higher levels of things that are going on. People out there that think they're in the know, that are actually in on this debacle, don't even know what the fourth and fifth dimensions of the game are doing, because they're all being done in private, between a very select few, and by few I mean few, that are being led by a very specific mindset. And it's just the way it is. We can't figure it out. Doesn't matter who, what, when, where. If you see, okay, all your stuff is on a cart on the train tracks. Okay, it's a push cart that's got train rails. You can't just push the cart off the tracks. Okay, forget cheating. You can see the train coming. The train's not coming fast, but it's steadily picking up speed. You can casually just say, okay, I'm going to take my stuff off the cart right here, go down there by that creek, and just set up camp, and then until the train goes by, I'm going to miss this train wreck. Or you can say, oh, I can go a little bit further. I can stay on this train track just a little bit more, maybe get a little bit more stuff on my cart before it's time to jump off in the weeds. Before you know it, the train's moving way faster than you thought it was, and you can't. You just got to grab a few little pieces off the top of your cart and jump down there by the creek. You saw it coming. You saw the train coming. You saw the train coming. You had plenty of time. Why didn't you get off the damn track? Why'd you wait till the last minute? Why'd you wait till he was honking the horn? When he's honking the horn at you, it's too late to get off the track. Well, you've got enough time to get you off the track. Your cart is toast. And chances are, because you waited so long, you're not only going to lose all your stuff, you're going to take other people with you. When you could just go ahead and unpack your cart, set up housekeeping out in the bushes, not sweat it. That's what we did. Now we are looking to pack our cart again and jump across the country, but I think it's time to prioritize for a lot of people. That's just me. If your life and stuff, I mean, it's your life. You got to make your own decisions. Yeah, that'd work for me. I'll just work out and I'll just push the cart faster. And that'd work fine right up until the time, his 6 or 7 diesel engines was pushing him up the hill and I wasn't doing so good. We just unpacked our cart. We got out. The deal. And then the train came out here. I didn't know they were going to find oil around me. Not know. We picked a spot in Texas where there was no oil wells. And they found oil. Yay! No H2S. No tank batteries to destroy. No need to worry about them going for the infrastructure because we don't produce any energy. Yay! Not. Blah. That was actually funny, of course, but my wife doesn't like muscly men, so I'm gonna have to pass. She likes tall, slender. I don't know. I might have to go to the gym and lose some of this though, because that may be, not be as slim as I need to be. That's it. Finished my last cigarette. Got my last bit of coffee. Let's see. Appreciate y'all sitting here talking. Think about it. Find a place to build your fort. Nothing else. Just go out and play with your kids in the yard. Pretty simple. You can deal with a refrigerator box. Y'all have a good rest of the weekend. Be blessed. Do something nice for somebody. Hug your kids, your wife, mother-in-law, whoever. Hug your father-in-law too, especially if you don't like you. You're just always scowling at you and talking bad about you. Just walk up and give him a big old hug, kiss him right on the cheek. So he knocks you on the ground. So what else don't we find you? It'll be worth it. Trust me. All right. Love y'all. Y'all still out. Don't die. See if I can get the mouse to show up so I can click the button.